Good afternoon. It is a real blessing to be here. And I said that even before I knew we'd have some amazing food here today. But it's important to be here. There's a story in the African American tradition about a lion and a man having an argument over who is greater, who is mightier, lions or men. And they walk through the forest and they come to a clearing and there's a statue of a man with his foot on a lion's head. And the man says, see, there's proof right there that men are greater than lions. And the lion says, well, all that's proof of is that men build statues and lions don't. And so the opportunity to tell the stories of our community, the opportunities to tell the story of our strength, the opportunities to tell the stories of our wealth is important. Because all of our children don't know those stories. And don't you know that stories really are life? History really is life. I'm so proud to be part of a city in St. Paul that has raised the minimum wage. I'm proud to be a part of a city that is pioneering guaranteed income. I'm proud to be part of a city that's working on cooperative housing and business opportunities. I'm proud to be part of a city that starts every child born in our city with $50 in a college savings account at birth. And let me tell you, one of the things that I've learned, and I see Councilmember Naker here, who we work very closely with. Please give a round of applause for Councilmember Naker. One of the things that I've learned is that what we're doing in City Hall, what we're doing in St. Paul, what we're doing in our community is we're abandoning an old model of city building that hasn't worked very well for us. We all inherited a model of city building that tells us that if we want to be safe, we have to just lock up all the young black and brown boys that we can find. It tells us that if we want to get around town, we can just build roads right over people's homes. It tells us if we want economic development, then what we ought to do is store up all of our money and find somebody out of town to give it to try to lure them to come into our community while our own neighborhoods, while our own neighbors, while our own residents are challenged and struggling. And what that makes us do is always bet against ourselves. Our residents know that those old models of city building mean we're betting against ourselves. So I want to tell you, when we work on college savings accounts, when we work on guaranteed income, when we work on cooperative ownership, when we work on this inclusive economy, I see it as the opposite of the legacy that we're here to talk about today. I see it as moving the world in the opposite direction. I grew up in that neighborhood called Rhonda that was uprooted to build the freeway. And the most profound feeling that I had reading all of the stories and all the photographs were that I've heard these stories before. Because the truth is that it wasn't that unique a playbook. The truth is that that story of displacement, that story of replacement, of that story of dehumanization isn't new. It goes all the way back, as I was thinking as we had the land acknowledgement, that we're on Dakota land right now. And so we need a new model, we need a new approach. And I appreciate you being here as part of this storytelling, because telling the story is what gives the story power. And giving it power is what enables us to move the world in a fundamentally different direction. I'm proud to be a part of that. I would be remiss if I didn't say, please, 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 if you had not already voted, they're giving out free stickers this week in St. Paul. And it's relevant to this conversation because on every ballot, you'll find a candidate who would try to convince us that we're the problem. Or try to convince me that you're the problem, and try to convince you that I'm the problem, and get us to work against one another. That type of strategy leads to the type of displacement that we're here to lament today. And there are candidates on each ballot who would help us come together and who would say we're all part of the solution. those are the opportunities that we have to move our community forward. It starts with making sure that our voices are heard at the polls. So I do encourage you all to make sure that whatever your voice is to say, we need to know that the West Side has heard this election day. And so I thank you all for being active members of our community. I thank you all for voting, and I thank you all for being part of the precious and sacred work that we have to do in between election days to ensure that we're building a city that works for all of us. Thank you very much.